Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be starting a new topic in yoga, that is your history of yoga. It is continuation from the last topic, that are various types of yoga and what were the various streams of yoga. How yoga helps in your self-development, that we have seen in the last class. And now we'll talk about slight brief history of yoga so that you can understand how this yoga has been originated and how it is being like what was there in all history of the yoga. Now, the objective of the topic, that is your introduction, history of yoga, various historical periods of yoga, conclusion and references. This all content we'll be reading here. Coming on to the introduction of yoga. Yoga is one of the oldest sciences in the world, originated in India, and it is which is very powerful for preserving your and maintaining one's physical and mental health and also for spiritual evolution. So we already know that yoga plays an important role in physical health and mental health, but along with that helps in your spiritual awakening also. The practice of yoga is believed to have started with very dawn of civilization. Mythologically, the Lord Shiva is considered to be the first teacher of yoga, yoga being widely considered as an immortal cultural outcome of Indus Valley civilization, dating back to 2700 BC, has proved itself catering to both material and spiritual upliftment of humanity. Basic human values are very identity of yoga sadhana. Coming on to the history of yoga, the presence of yoga is available in folk tradition, Indus Valley civilization, Vedic and Upanishadic heritage, Buddhist and Jain traditions, darshanas, epic of Mahabharata and Ramayana, thesis traditions of Shaivas, Vaishnavas, and Tantric traditions. In addition, there was primordial or pure yoga, which has been manifested in mystical traditions of South Asia. It was a time when yoga was given practiced under the direct guidance of Guru, and its spiritual value was given a special importance. Coming on to the various historical aspects of yoga. So, looking on this yoga in different periods. So, looking first is pre-Vedic period. In pre-Vedic India, number of signs of yoga were seen in Indian Saraswati Valley civilization. It was developed around 3300 to 1300 BC in northern India. Okay, so this is like where did the yoga originated? So already talked about that it originated in Indus Valley civilization. So where is Indus? Indus Saraswati Valley civilization, which was done in which was originated in pre-Vedic India. Vedic period is said to be around 1700 to 500 BC, that is before birth of the Christ. Vedas are sacred scripture of Brahmanism, which contains hymns, mantras, and rituals. Rig Veda is the oldest holy Hindu scripture in which word yoga was used first time in a hymn. Okay, so basically, first in the Vedic period, Vedas were given more important, and yoga is said to have been originated from Rig Veda, which is the oldest Hindu scripture, and yoga word was used for the first time in a hymn. Okay, hymn is like your prayer. In Atharvaveda, a group of aesthetics called as Vritya are to be shown doing some bodily postures which have evolved into physical exercises in today's world. In the Vedic period, rishis or yogis was also called by Vedic people to share their spiritual and logic knowledge with them. This is known as Vedic yoga. Okay, so basically yogis and rishis were called by Vedic people to share their spiritual and yogic knowledge, which was known as Vedic yoga. The aim of Vedic yoga was to yagna. Yagna is a sacrifice of individual body and soul to unite the supreme soul by practicing tapas, asana, and samadhi. So, according to the Vedic yoga or the yoga which was followed in a Vedic period, yagna. Yagna means the havan which you do. Okay, so that havan was taken as a sacrifice. With that havan, you used to take oath and That oath was that your individual's body and soul will unite with the supreme God. Okay, and by that, and that could be practiced by three things. Tapas means tap, how harsh be the situations you're sitting there meditating for longer durations times. Asana is one specific posture in which you are sitting. Samadhi is what? Samadhi is your state in which you will be attaining liberation. So that was a history in pre-Vedic and Vedic period. Then there was a pre-classical period which was from 2500 to 200 BC. Pre-classical yoga begins when Brahmins and rishis start emerging yoga concepts which were in the air till date in Upanishads and scriptures like Bhagavad Gita. Okay, after that, in pre-classical period, Brahmins and rishis making yoga, started working on yoga, or you can say started doing R&D on yoga, and have written their part in the Upanishads and scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, and which we follow till now. In Hindu religion, early writings on pre-classical yoga was written in Katha Upanishad along with 200 other scriptures. See, these highlighted words I've already highlighted. Most of them can come in your MCQs, so you should go through them. Like pre-classical yoga was written in which Upanishad? Okay, so it was written in Katha Upanishad along with 200 other scriptures. Katha Upanishad describes yoga, a connector bridge between mind and soul constituents. So, this connection can be attained with the practice of physical posture, retaining breath, focus mind meditatively at a silent place. So, physical posture is what? Your asanas. What is your physical posture? Your asanas. Retaining breath is your pranayam. Focusing mind is your dhyana, like concentration. So when you do all these things at a silent place, then a yoga becomes a connector bridge, or becomes a connection between your mind and soul. Okay, Bhagavad Gita describes yoga in variety of ways. Through Karam Yoga, that is your action, Bhakti Yoga, that is your devotion, Jnana Yoga through knowledge. In Buddhism, a systemic and comprehensive study on yoga-related concepts is shown in Pali Canon, a collection of Buddhist scriptures which are written in Pali language. So, if you can find a lot of historical origins of yoga even in Buddhism also. Coming to the classical period. Classical period is said to be dated between 200 BC to 500 BC. This classical period witnessed for the beginning of systemic and comprehensive models, ideas, techniques, and practices of yoga. Classic yoga consisted of Patanjali's organized knowledge from Brahmins, Rishimunis of Vedic period. Okay, so what happened in classical yoga was Patanjali, or this classical yoga period is also called as Patanjali yoga period, where the knowledge which was gathered from Vedic literature and from Vedic period, okay, that was collected. All this was then now systematically and comprehendedly with their ideas and practices. They were written in the scriptures. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra is a collection of 196 sutras containing methods of and different theories of yoga. Patanjali Yoga is also called as Raj Yoga, that is, yoga to get control over your mind and emotions. So there is one in the reference also you'll find one book, Patanjali Yoga Sutras. This book is the best book for your Hatha Yoga and or you can say Ashtanga Yoga, and which all is required for the highest type of yoga, that is Raj Yoga. Raj Yoga is what? The yoga to get your control of your mind and emotions. So whatever be the circumstances, your mind, your emotions don't deviate. That is your Raj Yoga. And as per Patanjali, the profounder of yoga in classical period, he has written all that what asana should be done, what pranayam should be done, what is a technique of this doing. So that is written in the form of 196 sutra. And there are various theories of doing yoga like hatha, union of you can say your Surya and Shakti. Similarly, that is you even say like Shiva and Shakti. Surya Nadi, Chandra Nadi. So union of your, you can consider them as your union of your body and your mind. Okay, and there are 8 steps, which is also called Ashtang Yoga, which elaborates steps and stages to obtain Samadhi state, which is the highest state, or it is also called as Nirvana, or it is also called as Kaivalyam, it is also called as Moksha, also derived from Patanjali's writing. So Ashtang Yoga, 8 limbs, which you have seen in the video also. These are 8 limbs, and this limbs or these things you need to follow for attaining your Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga. Coming into post-classical period. Post-classical yoga main focus was to live in the current moment and accept the reality rather than to strive or liberate a person from existence. So if till pre-classical yoga you have seen, it was all about your liberation. But in post-classical yoga, main focus was to live in a current moment, okay, and accept the reality, then to strive to liberate a person from existence. So if we say previously yoga was given more of a spiritual importance, but nowadays it's given like yoga is taken as an exercise, a form to keep your body fit. Okay, scriptures of post-classical period called Bhagavata Purana describes a yoga called Viraha, separation from the physical world, and concentrate on the Krishna. Hence, the earlier times of yogi in post-classical period was gone of meditation and contemplation. So, if you see in Bhagavata Purana, yoga was given a like a separation from the physical world, and given that it is like union of your body with your God. Okay, so before these, in your pre-classical period and all, what was that? This union and all of body with the soul or body with the supreme power. This all was like you're taking moksha and kavalyam. But concern here, this concentration on Krishna. That means in post-classical period, meditation and uh, meditation was given importance, but meditation and contemplation was not given that much importance, and more importance was given for your physical acceptance, or you can say what given upon more about your how yoga can be used for your exercise. Okay. So later on, different yoga masters refused Asian teaching of yoga and probed the hidden powers of physical body to achieve enlightenment. As Veda's teaching has now converted into development of physical body, so Tantra Yoga begin with this. So if you see here, now this development of yoga into spiritual things, or you can say spirituality combining, that was in pre-classical period and classical period. But if you say here, in this period, the Vedas teaching have now converted into physical body. That was I was saying in post-classical period, meditation was and contemplation. If person was doing, then it was said that you are doing a tantra yoga. Tantra yoga means you are doing some mantra chanting along with yogic postures. But otherwise, it was whole about development of physical body, and it started with Guru Gorakhnath, who started the Tantra yoga practices. Or it was like you are getting higher powers with doing yoga, like you can judge future and all. That power came in post classical period. So this modern period yoga started in 18th century when Indian masters start sowing seeds of yoga to the Western countries. Now the yoga was evolving. It came into your modern day yoga, which is also called as various centuries we have divided. What was the yoga in 18th century, how it spread in 18th century, and then how it spread in your 19th century. It all came in your various periods of yoga. Coming on to the 18th century, a disciple of Saint Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda. So there was a Saint Ramakrishna, his disciple was Swami Vivekananda, was the first yogi to influence the Western people about yoga. In 1983, Vivekananda's speech in Chicago Parliament of World Religions spread long-lasting impressions of American people about yoga. Other yoga gurus were Paramahansa Yogananda, who represented India in 1920s International Congress of Religious Liberals in Boston, US. His different techniques of meditation and Kriya Yoga made his millions of followers in Western and India. This founded organization was Self-Realization Fellowship. In 19th century, as yoga has been usually synonym with asanas in the West, many yoga gurus start work on Hatha Yoga to propagate their teachings in Western literature. During the 1920s and 1930s, the two most prominent yoga gurus in India were T. Krishnamacharya and Swami Shivananda. T. Krishnamacharya, also called as father of modern yoga. So if you see, now we have seen three fathers in yoga, and these is very important. Who is said to be mythologically father of yoga? It is Lord Shiva. Who is called as father of ancient yoga? Patanjali. Or who is called as profounder of yoga? Patanjali, Maharishi Patanjali. Now who is called as father of modern yoga? It is T. Krishnamacharya, as was a revival of Hatha Yoga, because he revived Hatha Yoga. Krishnamacharya opened a first yoga school in Mysore under the patronage of king in 1931. Okay, so he propounded this, and he's opened a school in the patronage in yoga under the patronage of king in 1931. Some of the renowned students of Krishnamacharya are B.K.S. Iyengar, K.T.V. Desi Kachar, and Patabh Jois. They became the famous yoga teacher in the West, continued his legacy, and increased the popularity of Hatha Yoga. B.K.S. Iyengar is a founder of Iyengar Yoga. Krishnamacharya Krishnamacharya was a brother-in-law of I. B.K.S. Iyengar, so that he encouraged Iyengar to learn yoga at the early stage of their life. T.K.V. Desi Kachar was a son of Krishnamacharya. He is the founder of Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, a yoga therapeutic clinic and yoga center in Madras. He taught a form of yoga known as Vinayasa Yoga all throughout the world. Now, what is Vinayasa Yoga? It is a form of your Hatha Yoga only, with all the philosophies of Ashtanga and Hatha Yoga, which is written by Patanjali. But here, the only thing is you can keep your flow of your mind and body at one state, and there is like you don't keep your body or posture one posture, you change your postures in a flow, like one posture shift to the another posture shift, like that is followed. Okay, so that is about KTV Desicharka Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandalam, where the Vinayasa Yoga is followed. In that Vinayasa Yoga, the form of yoga is changing the form, like we have done in Surya Namaskar, like Uttha Asana and Asana, then followed by your Chakrasana. So all these asanas are done in a flow, and the pattern will be decided by the yoga guru depending upon your condition or depending upon your level of your yoga which you follow. Then Swami Shivananda, if we say, to conclude, I'll say Swami Shivananda was a proponent of yoga and Vedanta. Vedanta is a follow philosophy of your Brahman and the soul, and then there Advaita Vedanta that we have already seen in philosophies of yoga. Okay, so Swami Shivananda was a proponent of yoga and Vedanta, and in that Vedanta, it is like union of your body with the Supreme, or you can say Supreme and body are the same. He founded a Divine Life Society that is called as DLS in Rishikesh, and published book more than 200 books on yoga. His book contains the practical applications of yoga philosophies over theoretical knowledge. This DLS society have given more importance on practical yoga comparative to the theoretical yoga. Apart from Hatha Yoga, Kundalini Yoga was also originated or introduced in 1969 in USA by Swami Satchitananda, and Yogi Bhajan. This Swami Satchidananda has great impact in yoga, as he introduced Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga is a form of yoga in which chakras are made to work on. Chakras are, according to it, our spine is considered like a serpent, in which energies are stored in coiled up form. Okay, and to liberate yourself, or to get free from your all the emotions and all the hidden impurities, or you can say all the bondings or obstacles, this energy which is released need to be released from this serpent, or need to be released from this spine, which is also called as kundalini, by liberating your, or opening your chakras, or awakening your chakras. So the lowest most chakra is in a lower lumbosacral region, that is also called as Muladhara, and highest chakra is in your pineal gland, which is in your, which is also called as crown chakra. Okay, so liberation middle, that have your sacral chakra, it have your then your digestive chakra, heart chakra, throat chakra. Okay, third eye chakra, and finally is your crown chakra. So all the energies which are stored in that, it needs to be liberated, and that liberation comes with asanas, pranayams, and meditation, along with chanting mantras. So this is also a part of yoga. So if you have seen there how this historically the yoga has originated from Vedic period, then pre-Vedic, from pre-Vedic period, then Vedic period, then pre-classical period, classical period, post-classical period, and now in the modern era, in which 18th century they were the followers of yoga, the 19th century, and the finally in 1969 Kundalini yoga was introduced. Now the new forms of yoga have come into being, like your aquatic yoga, your therapeutic yoga, your power yoga, but these are the variations of the normal yoga types which you already know. And this was slightly brief about your history of yoga. I hope you must have understood it, and any doubts you can let me know anytime. For further references, you can go through these books which are already listed and already told you about. In that, I was talking about your Patanjali Yoga Sutras. This is a book which is of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, that you can go through it, and that will be giving you a very good history of yoga along with the various 196 sutras how to practice yoga. It is also given very nicely. Hatha Yoga Pradipika, you can also go through it. Then Asana Sutras is also one of the book, but the best books is Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which are the standardized books. Thank you. Thanks a lot.